Hi, and welcome to Anne's Family Recipe. Today I'm in my mother-in-law Mary Lynn's kitchen, and we're going to make her famous apple pie. We're starting today with the pie crust.
Yes.
So in this bowl we have 2 cold sticks of unsalted butter.
Yes.
And we're kind of using an unconventional method. We don't have a pastry blender today, but we have some wooden spoons that sort of have some tines in the end, and we're just mashing up the butter so that it'll incorporate a little bit easier into the other ingredients. This pie crust is a unique combination of unsalted butter and coconut oil.
Coconut oil,
right?
Yes.
So how much are you adding today?
This is 1/2 cup. So the ratio is 2 to 1. So we have
butter.
2 sticks of butter to 1/2 cup of the coconut oil. And I've discovered that it makes for a very flaky crust.
Ooh, okay, that's what we like.
Now we have a teaspoon of vinegar. You can use either apple cider vinegar or just plain white vinegar.
I can smell that we're using apple cider today.
Yes.
It's very potent.
Have it on hand. And then we're going to add that. And this helps with the tenderness and flakiness of the pie crust. It's
okay.
just a little old.
But you won't taste it, right?
No, you will not notice that at all. Okay, so we're mixing that.
Looking good.
The reason that we're using a stainless steel bowl is to help keep the butter and the coconut oil cold,
okay.
so that it doesn't get like too warm, and then it would make like for a soggy crust.
Got it. Good tip.
For a little extra flavor, and I'm a fan of pure vanilla.
Yes.
So I usually add it to everything. We're just going to add 1 tablespoon of pure vanilla. We'll get that mixed in.
I would say that that is a secret ingredient because I've never seen vanilla extract added into a pie crust. That'll add a nice little flavor,
Just gives it a little taste of little vanilla.
How about, do you want me to mix and then you can keep adding what's left?
Yes, and then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar. That's just plain white sugar.
My favorite ingredient.
And we're getting that mixed nicely, and it's coming to a ball, which is good.
Oh, okay.
And
that's what
now
we're looking for then, huh?
We're going to add, we kind of like go by...
You're going to eyeball it, right?
Yes, how the dough fills, but we have some iced water, and I'm just going to pour some in there without the ice. So we're just going to do a little bit at a time. And then we're going to start incorporating the flour. I'm using unbleached flour, which is something that I always have in my kitchen pantry.
Yep.
Okay, next, just a little sprinkle of salt.
Okay.
Just to kind of like give it a little bit of a salty, sweet flavor.
Yeah. And then so far we have about a tablespoon of the ice water in there, and next you're going to incorporate a little bit of flour. So you're starting with a cup?
So we will start with 1 cup at a time. And depending on the day, the weather, the humidity, sometimes you have to use more flour, more water.
Very true.
So I'm going to start adding a little bit more water.
Nice.
And I'll continue with the flour.
Okay.
Look at that.
So this is our second cup of flour.
This is our second cup of flour. We'll just sprinkle that in.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to get a little bit more water. Let's make a little well in the center there.
Okay. You want to hold the ice back cool.
Hold the ice back. Yeah, that was probably close to a tablespoon, I would say. So we'll continue with a little more water. Okay, let's incorporate that in. And then now we'll add 1/2 cup of flour at a time until we get the right consistency.
Okay.
So we're going to add some flour in there.
This is so fun for me to see because this is my favorite apple pie, and I never knew the secrets behind making it. So now I'm getting them all, and so are you.
I think some people are so intimidated making a pie. They think it's so difficult.
I usually buy my pie crust at the store, but this isn't that bad.
Easiest pie. It really is easy.
Yeah.
And fun. Okay, I'm going to add a little more water. The dough looks like it's coming to a nice form, and we're going to have to get our hands in there, which is so that we can just get the feel of it.
I was going to say, do you do a lot of your baking by feel?
Sometimes, yes, absolutely. And then also, there's some chunks of butter that are still cold. The warmness of your hands will help melt that.
Okay. So that's an important tool, using your hands.
So you want to...
Can I try?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. Then we're gonna do a little flour, water.
This would be fun to do with the kids too. They just might make too much noise. They're watching TV right now.
We have their little pie pans ready. They love to get involved. So how does it feel?
It feels
Sort
pretty
of
good.
Play-Doh consistency.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
It's not sticky.
What about, okay, so there's some little crumbs at the bottom. Is that okay, or do we still need to keep mixing?
We can just go with a little more water. Let's open up and make a little well.
Okay.
We'll go with a little bit more water. Okay.
All right.
Mix that in.
I'm learning so much. I'm destroying your kitchen.
No. My kitchen is your kitchen.
Oh, thank you.
You know that. Okay.
Can you test it?
Yeah, it actually feels like it came to a ball is what we were wanting to have then. So now we will get ready to place it on our pastry board to get ready to roll out the pie crust.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, we're ready to have our pastry board floured, and that will help prevent the dough from sticking to the board.
Okay, and we divided this.
We divided the one ball into 2 balls.
For a bottom crust and then a top crust.
Correct.
But it's just for one pie.
Correct. So now it feels wonderful, Anne. Would you mind reaching the rolling pin? And incidentally, this was my maternal grandmother's
That's what you were telling
rolling
me.
pin. And my
beautiful.
mom had it for years, and when my mom broke up her household when she moved into an apartment, she said that I can have it.
A little family heirloom.
It is. It's an old
that's
wooden,
so nice. Here, let me get this out of your way.
Rolling pin that works very nicely. Okay, so we're going to begin rolling. We may have to add more flour.
Are you handing this over to me, trustingly?
You're going to roll that into we're making a 10-inch pie today.
Okay. Now, how would you rotate this?
Yes, you can flip it over and
or flip it. Okay.
We can add a little flour, and we see some butter in there, and I think that's okay because once it starts baking, the juices from the apples will all come together. I'm going to add a little more flour.
Okay. Now, is that just to prevent this from sticking, or?
Well,
it just kind of helps with the texture.
It helps with the texture, plus prevents it from sticking.
Okay.
You can see that there's a circumference of on this board.
Oh, it tells you how wide to go.
Cutting board is 41 years old.
Oh, wow, and still going strong.
I bought it for a bridal shower gift.
Oh my gosh.
And so we've had a lot of use out of this.
Do you want to finish this off? I feel like I'm not doing it justice here.
So we're just gonna.
Oh, it takes a little muscle. That's what it needs. We know I don't have that.
Oh, yes, you do. I think those 4 kids. So we're going to roll this out, and it looks very nice. It's not sticky, and the flour from the bottom. Well, actually, we're going to fold it in half and see how nice that lifts off the board.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And it didn't stick, and we have our 10-inch deep dish pie plate, and we will place this in here. And you can be fancy if you like and use like a fluted cutter to make the edges, but what I always like to do is get the extra crust around there, and once I place the top layer of the crust on, I kind of crimp it myself with my hands.
Okay, so we'll do that in a little bit.
That'll be the next, yes.
So we rolled it out so it was a little bit wider than the 10-inch pan, so you had a little bit of room to work on the edges.
And if it doesn't seem long enough, you can kind of press it on the rim.
Make it work.
And then it doesn't have to be even, because once we place the top layer after the apples, we're going to crimp them together.
Okay. So for your apple pie, you use Granny Smith apples.
Always Granny Smith.
Okay, and
I've always had the best results with Granny Smith.
They're a little bit tart, but then you'll add some sugar and cinnamon, and it'll be a perfect balance. Okay, and you've washed them all off. And now we've got old school and new school peeling going on over here. So Mom's using her little vegetable peeler, and she's a pro, so she's totally beating me, even though I have this fancy gadget over here. And I'm going to show you how I peel my apple with this little apple peeler. So as satisfying as it was to watch the apples being peeled by this fancy peeler here, Mom's method was a lot faster because she's already peeled 5 or 6 apples and I've gone through 3. Oh. So you win this one.
Oh, okay.
But I did want to mention that we have a total of about 8 or 9 apples here we're going to start with. Yes. It's always better to peel a couple extra. Our kids can eat them as a little snack, or we can make a little extra pie for them, right?
Yes. We're going to cut them into quarters. That's how I usually do it. Yep. And then I take off the seeds and that extra skin, and then we're going to slice them very thin.
Okay, is that the secret? Do you cook your apples?
No, we're going to bake them right into the pie.
Okay, so that saves us a step. We don't have to cook them. You'll just slice them paper thin.
Paper thin.
I like it. So to these apples, we're adding a cup of sugar.
1 cup of sugar.
Okay.
You can incorporate that in.
And that'll help draw all the juices out, right? And make it sweet.
We have 1 tablespoon of cinnamon.
That smells so good. Classic.
We have the juice of a half of a lemon.
Okay.
Fresh lemon. The juice of a half of a lemon. And we're going to add a little bit of salt once again.
Oh, okay.
And we will add a teaspoon to maybe a teaspoon and a half of vanilla.
A little more.
Maybe we'll go with
Great
2
flavor.
teaspoons.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that will be mixed.
Looks good.
Sprinkle some flour in there, and this will help absorb some of the juices and thicken as it's baking.
Oh, okay.
So we have about a tablespoon of flour.
So everything's pretty well incorporated, and by the end we added a little bit more flour and sugar.
Yes.
So maybe we had about a tablespoon and a half of the flour and like a cup and a quarter of sugar.
Yes.
When all was said and
Yes.
done. Okay. So now we need to roll out the top crust.
Yes, so we'll set this aside.
Okay.
I'm going to flour the board.
So here's our second ball of dough. Did I do that right?
We'll flour it a little.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Don't be afraid. It's easy as pie. So now you're going to start rolling it, and we're going to get a nice big round circle.
Same thing, a little bit bigger than the,
Yes.
the 10-inch pie
Yes.
pan. Okay, here we go.
And you keep turning the dough as you roll.
Okay.
We can still see some specks of butter in there, and I'm going to add a little more
Extra
flour.
flour.
in there.
Okay. Ooh, it's all right.
Are you used to the rolling pins without the handle?
Yes, I have a French rolling pin. That's why. See, I'm not even holding on to the handles.
Yeah,
Here,
notice
show us how it's
that,
done.
We want to make this maybe a little bigger and a little thinner because it will go on top of the apples, and we'll have enough of the rim to put around so that we can crimp it to keep the juices in.
Okay, that's good to know though. I never would have thought of that. So the top crust wanted to be a little bit thinner than the bottom crust.
Exactly.
It's coming together. So we have our bottom crust, our top crust, and now we're gonna fill it with all the delicious apples.
Yes, okay, so I'll hold the bowl and you can guide the apples into the pie.
Okay. There we go. Wow, this looks incredible. Oh, wow, this might use most of these.
I think so, yeah.
What do you think?
Yep.
Tell me when. Still going?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Holy cow, we know that's gonna be good.
And once they start baking, they'll cook down.
That's true, yes.
So, we want to have them.
You don't want to
held
skimp on the apples. Oh my gosh,
high.
I can't believe
We'll
it.
use every last one.
Before we put the top crust on, we're gonna put little pats of butter all over the top.
A few pats. So I usually don't even measure, but I'll just kind of
Dot the top, yeah.
Yeah, and that way they'll.
I have no problem with extra butter.
Cook down with the juices. Just maybe 4 or 5.
Okay.
Pats of butter. And then also we will add just a little bit of flour on top of that. Just a light sprinkle.
Oh, okay.
That's to help with thickening the juices.
Looks good.
Now we'll be ready for the top layer.
Okay.
It's all about.
Are we gonna fold it
presentation.
again?
We'll fold it and we'll do it together.
Okay.
And we'll take it and we'll fold it.
Like
Okay, then we'll lift it.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Careful, careful.
Actually, that's not too hard.
No, it's not hard at all. And so we have the extra dough. So what we're going to do is kind of tuck it and connect it with the bottom layer of dough, and we're going to stick it together. They sell fluting tools.
Sure, you could use a fork to kind of crimp the edge.
But I like to do it just pinching with my thumb.
Yeah, oh, it looks homemade and rustic. That's the best way to do it.
Start on that end and I'll meet you
Okay.
somewhere in the middle.
So you're using your pointer finger and your thumb and then your other pointer and then sticking it in between?
Just kind of crimping it. Okay. How are you coming over there?
We're okay, I think.
Here, turn it around. Okay, just a little bit more. And then we'll cut on top of the pie a little air vent for the steam to escape.
Beautiful.
Okay, and then we are going to do a wash on top of the crust.
So I'm in charge of mixing together our little wash for the top of the pie, and we have a tablespoon of half and half.
Half and half
Or you could
cream.
use heavy cream or something like
Yes,
that. Okay.
yes.
And then 1 egg white. So I'm going to whisk that together. And then what do we add? And do we add anything else to this?
No, we're going to wash the pie with the pastry brush.
Okay.
And then we're going to sprinkle just granulated sugar.
Nice. All right. So Mom has her pastry brush.
I'll give you the liberties.
Okay.
Okay, you can just do, just.
Oh, that's fun. Can I be messy?
Yes, you can be as
No rhyme or reason here?
No rhyme or reason. Some people just use milk or just the egg white in itself, but I like the combination of both of them. It seems to make create like a flakier crust.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that that's what you use, but yours is the best, so I trust you. Now, I even do like the tips of the everything.
Yes,
okay.
Cover it, yeah. You just don't want to get it too soggy.
Oh, okay, let me spread this
But,
out.
you're not.
So far, so good?
You're very good.
Okay. And then we'll sprinkle on looks like about a quarter cup, maybe a little less of sugar.
We probably won't use this much. I just put it in this little measuring cup.
Yep.
But what I usually do is I just sprinkle it, a light sprinkle. Ooh. So if you want to help on
so that'll give a little crunch on top and a little extra sweetness. Does that make it shiny?
It makes it shiny, yes.
So before we put this beautiful pie into the oven, we're going to place it on top of a pan. And you have this nice, it's kind of like a pizza pan here.
Yes.
But you could use like a baking tray too if you wanted to.
Yes.
And this is going to catch any juices that drip over the side, right?
Yes.
Okay, so our pie is going to go into our oven, which is preheated at 375 degrees. The rack is right in the middle, and this will go in for about 40 to 50 minutes.
We'll just have to check it.
Yeah, every oven's different, so we'll just keep an eye on it. After 40 minutes, we'll take a peek. So the pie is all baked?
The pie is baked.
We get to try it, right?
Yeah, you be my guest.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
You try the first bite.
Get a little of the double crust and the apple filling. Oh, look, it's nice and cooked through because we slice them really thin. You ready? Cheers. That's good pie.
Thank you for joining us in my kitchen.
And I'll see you again soon with another family recipe. For the full recipe, check the description box below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me in my kitchen.